Welcome to Hyundai-Hysco America. Hyundai-Hysco is an automotive steel supplier working within the network of the Hyundai Motor Group of companies. Hysco is dedicated to providing the highest quality steel and steel parts to our customers. We thank you for visiting our facility, but we want you to be safe while you are here, so this video will explain our required safety policies for everyone. It is the policy of Hysco America to promote good health, well-being, and occupational safety to everyone working or visiting our facility. If you have a question, please ask your contact regarding our safety policies or our procedures. We want you to be clear on all of our safety policies. Any infraction of Hysco America's safety policies and procedures, work standards, or human resources policies will result in the suspension or termination of the contract for work between Hysco America and any given contractor. Alcohol, illegal drugs, firearms, explosives, and other dangerous items are not allowed on the premises, including your vehicle. Upon arrival to Hysco, please report to the receptionist or security guard. All contractor vehicles entering or exiting our facility are subject to search. Refusal of a search may result in dismissal from the site. You'll need to show that you have the required personnel protective equipment. Be prepared to show a hard hat, safety glasses with side shields, steel-toe boots, Kevlar gloves if you're working with or near metal, and hearing protection. You will then be issued a visitor or a contractor badge. If you have received Hysco's safety orientation within the past 12 months, present your certification card to the security guard, or you will be required to attend the safety orientation training. If you're going to be here for several days, a temporary ID badge can be issued. Contractor vehicles are not allowed to park in front of the Hysco offices. Please use a space farthest from the front of the office. While performing your work for Hysco, please keep to the areas you have been hired to work in. Stay away from the front offices, plus employee, cafeteria, bathrooms, and locker rooms, unless you have been assigned to work there. Contractors will be assigned to certain bathrooms based on the area being worked in. The Hysco Personnel Protective Equipment Policy applies to everyone that might be in areas where exposure to a hazard that may cause injury or illness, have a potential to damage or contaminate property or the environment, or would expose non-team members to hazards. Contractors must adhere to a minimum dress code in addition to having the correct protective equipment. Shorts and athletic gear are not allowed. Wear long trousers only. T-shirts are fine, but sleeveless versions are not allowed. Plus, anything printed on your shirts that might be offensive are banned. Contractors must complete an annual safety orientation. Successful completion will grant you a valid 12-month orientation card. Be prepared to show the card at any time. General plant safety rules are guidelines to promote safe working conditions at Hysco. Violations of these rules will result in appropriate discipline measures. Each team member, visitor, and contractor shall maintain safe working conditions in the plant at all times. Smoking is not permitted at any time inside the building. You must keep the area you are working in clean and orderly. If Hysco must do the cleanup for you, Hysco will deduct the work from your final invoice. If you are working with any material, the scraps may not be burned. You are responsible for disposing of them properly. Again, if Hysco has to do this for you, the cost will be deducted from your invoice. And finally, as the last general safety rule is to report any injury to the supervisor immediately. Hysco management must be notified of any incident, injury, or near miss that occurs when a contractor is working at Hysco when the incident occurs. No exceptions. If the fire alarm goes off, a verbal announcement will be given over the Hysco plant radio system. Contractors and visitors will be notified and directed to appropriate emergency evacuation muster points by Hysco team members. Everyone inside the Hysco facility should evacuate using the nearest marked exit. Portable fire extinguishers are provided throughout the facility but should only be used by trained and qualified personnel. In the event of an emergency, stop what you're doing and proceed in a timely and orderly manner to the nearest exit.
There are 3 Hysco meeting points in case of a fire alarm. They are the southwest entrance guard shack, the area directly south of the administration building at Safe Zone 2, and the center of the parking lot.
In the event of a severe weather alarm, you should take cover in one of 3 shelters. All severe weather shelters are marked in the plant and can be located using the plant layout maps posted throughout the facility. The primary evacuation shelter is located underneath the blanking line inside the blanking line scrap pit. Access is located at two places directly behind the blanking line and the north end of the pit. Use this shelter if you are in the production areas. If the primary shelter is blocked or full, head towards the secondary evacuation shelter. It's located in the administration building in the first floor locker room. Use this shelter if you are in or near the administration building. The other secondary shelter is inside the maintenance office and storage room. Use this shelter if you are in the production lines. When reporting a medical emergency, make sure to call the correct number. Provide the nature of the emergency, location of the emergency, including address, building, and room number, your name, and phone number from which you are calling. Do not move the victim unless absolutely necessary, and call personnel trained in first aid prior to the arrival of professional medical help. Lists like these will be posted around the plant. While working here at Hysco, you'll have a responsibility in reporting and even correcting safety hazards, even those you did not create. Please report incidents such as near misses, property damage, general liability, environmental, quality issues, business interruption, and contractor issues. When performing electrical work, you need the OK from your point of contact or through the maintenance department. You need to use your own tools and safety equipment and keeping them up to date and using them correctly. Company contractors are responsible for providing their employees with all needed tools and PPE to ensure their employees' safety and are in compliance with OSHA, NFPA, and ANSI standards. Treat all power lines as energized until proper clearance has been granted. Confirm that they have been de-energized and grounded. Keep your vehicle and its load at least 10 feet from power lines. Designate someone to visually assist you at all times. When using extension cords, make sure they are in proper working order. Only use the 3-wired type rated for extra hard usage. Good examples of these are S, ST, SO, SJO, SJT, and SJTO type cords. Never use flat cords unless it's for temporary lighting or it has ground fault circuit protection. Use ground fault circuit interrupters on all 120-volt single-phase, 15 and 20 ampere outlets, devices, and tools used on site. Test them regularly. Outlets located on the outside of the building already have GCIs built in. Outside personnel or contractors involved in lockout of equipment of machinery that affects in-house team members must submit written energy control procedures to the safety manager prior to beginning work. All affected team members must be briefed in the contractor's submitted procedures. In order to protect in-house team members, the contractor's work area will be isolated and access will be restricted. If this cannot be accomplished, the production manager must assure that the contractor complies with proper energy isolation procedures by observing work in progress.
Contractors failing to adhere to the provisions of the OSHA Hazardous Energy Control Standard will be required to stop work.
Before you can perform any hot work, such as cutting or welding, you need a hot work permit. This is obtained from Hysco. An authorized Hysco representative will look for several things: that you have removed combustible materials at least 35 feet away or at least covered them properly, that arrangements have been made for someone to watch the area after the day's work to make sure no embers are smoldering. Once this checklist is completed, your Hysco rep signs the permit and notifies the HR department 24 hours in advance. You may then begin your work a day later. Keep the permit visible at your work site at all times. Ladders that you use need to meet several criteria. One is that it meets OSHA specs. Use the right ladder for the job, so don't use a metal ladder near exposed electrical sources. Make sure all connections are secure, non-slip surfaces are on the rungs, and gripping feet are in place. Set ladders up on level, firm, flat, and non-slippery surfaces, and that the top is against a solid and fixed surface. Use the 4-to-1 principle when setting up an extension ladder. That is done by placing the base at a distance equal to 1/4 of the height. If your extension is 20 feet or higher, a second person needs to steady the base or tie the top to an anchor point. If you're going to work 4 feet or higher, you must use some type of fall protection 100% of the time. Anchor points, lanyards, and vertical lifelines need a brake strength at 5,000 pounds. Temporary guard rails must have the top rail between 36 and 45 inches from the floor. Plus, use vertical and mid rails as well as toe boards. Keep the flooring platforms gap-free, clutter-free, and dry. Cover all floor and wall openings with a solid and secured covering. The covering should hold the weight of several people. Put up barricades that are extremely well marked to warn of the openings. You can only operate forklifts or trucks that you have been authorized to use. While driving, wear your seatbelt and maintain a safe speed and the safe distance of 3 truck lengths or 3 seconds. Use extreme caution cornering and sound the horn. No riders, stunt driving, horseplay, or smoking allowed. The material safety data sheet must be prepared and furnished by you for any chemical you would like to bring into our facility. A chemical data sheet must be added to our chemical inventory. All chemicals must clearly display our chemical hazard label. Never assume a chemical is safe. Always check it out. You, the contractor, are responsible for your employees in following the rules. You are responsible for disciplinary actions for minor and major rules violations. See your Hysco point of contact in what constitutes minor and major rule violations. When it comes to workplace violence or harassment of any type towards other workers, Hysco has a zero-tolerance policy. Any contractor or their representative found to have violated the policy is barred from Hysco America permanently. Thank you for working with us on your project here at Hysco. We appreciate your knowledge and skills. If you have any questions about the points in this video, let us know. Have a great day at Hyundai-Hysco and help us obtain our ultimate goal of an incident and injury-free workplace.